And a very good Monday morning, afternoon, evening, everyone. Joe Benigno back with you again, the Oda Pain podcast. It's Monday. It is November 17th, 2025. The Joe Benigno Oda Pain podcast brought to you by Manscaped, the Carolina Resort Vacation, and my good friends at Anita Discount Tire. We welcome in the outstanding beat writer for the New York Jets from my favorite paper. Really, it's the only paper you can read. And that is the New York Post, and that's Brian Costello. Brian, how are you, bro?
I'm good, Joe. How you doing?
Well, I mean, look, I'd be better if my football team wasn't sitting at 2-8 and on the verge of
Yeah.
being 2-9 after they got hammered by the Ravens next week. But outside of that, I'm doing pretty well. I want to start with this, all right? And I never heard of this kid. Who is this kid that got shot the other night? A kid by the name
Yeah.
of Bird. I guess he's on the Jets. Has he even played for this team? What's the story on that, Brian?
Well, his name is Chris Boyd.
Well, Boyd. I'm
He was
sorry.
signed. He was signed in March or April. As he was going to be a special teams guy, Joe, and he got hurt in training camp. So he's been on IR the whole season. So that's why most Jets fans probably don't even remember he's on the team. If you remember, Joe, his most memorable moment came in the postseason last year. He was on the Texans,
Hmm.
and he pushed his coach. I think they were playing the Chiefs, and he came off the field after a kickoff, and
Right.
he shoved the special teams coordinator on the sideline, and that's kind of what he is known for until now. And so, yeah, unfortunate situation there over the weekend in Manhattan.
Where is he now? I mean, still in critical condition? I mean, do we
I,
know?
I am not 100% sure, Joe. We have we have great news reporters at the Post who the police reporter's been working on it. So I have not seen the latest update on where he is and what his condition. I think he was in stable condition. I saw
Mhm.
yesterday. So hopefully he's coming out of this okay.
All right, let's talk about the trades. Let's get down to that first. I love them. I got to tell
Yeah.
you. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, you couldn't get two more overrated players than Sauce Gardner and Quinn Williams. I mean, So the two games that the Jets won were without Sauce Gardner. Your thoughts on these trades? And do you feel confident that Aaron Glenn and Muhi are the right guys to develop whoever this quarterback is going to be that they're going to draft?
Yeah, look. I had mixed emotions, Joe. I like Sauce a lot more than you, and I felt 24 years old, premium position. You had him under
Mhm.
contract. But I get it. Two first round picks is hard to pass up, and that's a nice price to get for him. So I understood that part of it. Quinn, sort of different story. He wanted out. He was miserable
Right,
here.
right.
He's a little bit older. I think you can find defensive tackles a little easier than cornerbacks. So I was okay with dealing Quinnen. I thought they got a good price for him too, getting a first round pick. I didn't think they'd get a first round pick because he doesn't sack the quarterback, So
Right,
I thought they'd
right.
have a hard time getting a first round pick for him. But now it's going to come down to what they do with these picks, and I hate that's kind of a cop out answer, but it's the truth. Is like if you find a quarterback and it's because of these picks that you get a quarterback, who the hell cares what you give up, right? Like you give up anything to find a franchise quarterback. So if we're sitting here, God willing, in 2028, and we're talking about how the Jets have this fantastic young quarterback, and it's because they use this draft pick from the Cowboys and the Colts to get him. Maybe they trade up. Maybe it's one of these picks that they use on them. But if they do that, hey, it's worth it completely. My confidence level, I don't know how you can have confidence in them. I also don't say like they can't do it. We haven't seen
Mhm.
them do it, and it's a hard thing, Joe. I mean, there's a lot of good coaches out there. Bill Belichick didn't develop Mac Jones, and he messed him up kind of with the move with Matt Patricia and Joe Judge, and obviously he developed the greatest quarterback of all time. So it's hard to know, what they can do, and a lot goes into that too. Like I mean, I think obviously Sam Darnold had a bad game on Sunday with the interceptions, but Jets fans have watched him this season at different times against Washington a few weeks ago in prime time, where it looks like, oh man, he's the real deal. The Jets didn't have a good infrastructure here when they got here. And I'm not just talking about coaching. I'm talking about
Right,
receivers. I'm talking about offensive line.
right.
So, you need all of that to develop a quarterback, I think.
Well, I'll tell you one thing I don't want. I don't want somebody else's quarterback. I can tell you right now. I've heard rumors about Joe Burrow. I don't want him. First of all, he gets hurt all the time. I can't believe Cincinnati would do that anyway. I'm not giving up a bunch of number ones for him. I want no part of Kyler Murray. Please.
Yeah.
The Cardinals don't want him. I mean, Brissett's been playing. So I want my own guy. And I got to tell you that, Brian. And I don't know who that guy is. I don't know if it's Mendoza. I don't know if it's Dante Moore. I don't know if it's Ty Simpson. I don't know if it's Lenora Sellers, although he's had a bad year. I understand that. That game they blew to Texas A&M the other day was
Yeah.
unbelievable. But that, you know what? One thing I've learned though, you always can't put a lot of stock in what they're doing in college all the time. And that
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily translate that he's going to be a bad player in the NFL.
100%. I mean, I'm Joe. I really threw myself in 2017 into watching the quarterbacks, right? Because that was the year we knew the Jets were taking one in 2018. So I
Right.
really watched. I watched a lot of Sam Darnold. I watched a lot of Josh Rosen. I watched a lot of Josh Allen. Baker kind of came on that season, and Lamar was an afterthought. Amazingly, now
Right.
looking
Right.
back on it, but I remember watching Josh Allen, and you could see the skills, but like there was so many incompletions. But when you looked at it, like the year before, he had some good receivers that had graduated, and he had guys playing that they weren't NFL players. It's hard to evaluate, and you watch like Alabama. I watched Ty
Mm-hmm.
Simpson. Now he had a tougher game Saturday against Oklahoma, but some of the times I've watched him, guys are running wide open, and he's got
Right.
NFL wide
Right.
receivers on his team. He gets all the time in the world with that offensive line, so it's like it's hard to project. When he comes to the Jets, he's not going to have all that time. The offensive line's better, but it's the NFL, and the windows are tighter, so it's hard. It's very hard to project. I'm with you. So I think it's a challenge, and I've liked watching the quarterback. I've started to dig in a little bit on Mendoza, Simpson, and Moore because these seem like the three guys, and you can see it with all three of them. You can see the skill level, the skill set they have, and I wonder about the experience level too because we've seen that. Like that was kind of some of these guys come in, they haven't played a lot of college football, and they don't do well in the NFL, and now we're seeing some of these guys who've played a long time, like Bo Nix.
Yep.
Wasn't the
Yep.
greatest college quarterback in the world, but he
No.
played a lot of college football, and now he looks a little more ready in the NFL.
Well, he's also got the coach. I mean, that's a big factor
Just the
too. I
coach.
mean,
Yep.
you look at what's going on in New England with Drake May and with Vrabel and what a different team they've been. So,
Yeah. And Josh
unfortunately,
McDaniels. Josh
right.
McDaniels. You got to
Yeah.
give him a ton of credit. Yep.
Yeah. Great coordinator, terrible head coach, McDaniels. But,
Yep.
and it's a disaster that New England is good. They're going to win the division, but I don't want to get into it. Yeah. You know who I love? I really, look, I know to his team, they've had kind of a tough year, brutal schedule, but Arch Manning at Texas. I know they got killed by Georgia the other night, but
Yeah.
he doesn't have a good offensive line there. His team's kind of been up and down. We'll see what they do against Texas A&M in a couple weeks. But the pedigree is there. And I'll tell you, I've watched a lot of Texas football, Brian. He makes all the throws. Like I said, he doesn't have a great offensive line there. He can run, and he's got the Manning pedigree. I don't know if he's coming out. I mean, he's making a lot of money, a lot of NIL
Yeah.
money. I don't know, but I'll tell you, I like him. If the Jets could get their hands on him, I'll say
Yeah, I
that.
don't know if he'll come out this year, Joe. Obviously, he hasn't had the best year in terms of
No,
for his draft stock, and like you said, he's making plenty. I see him on commercials.
right,
He's still
right.
making plenty of money there, and so maybe he wants another year. He's only been the starter this year, so maybe he'd like another year to chase a championship at Texas. But man, it'd be fascinating. Obviously, we all know the Manning history.
Yep.
With Peyton nearly being a Jet and going back to school, and it would be interesting if there's another Manning possibility for the Jets.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. But I'm happy with all the draft capital. We're talking, of course, to Brian Costello with a Post, who does a great job covering the Jets. All right, and what's happening with this coach now? Is he gonna name the starter like tomorrow? Is he gonna wait till Sunday to name the starter at game time? I mean, what's going on with this guy? I don't get it. I really
Yeah,
don't.
your guess is as good as mine on that one, Joe. I don't know. I mean, we'll talk to him Wednesday, so that would be when he would name it to us. Traditionally, if they making a change, they usually tell the players, they tell the quarterbacks on Tuesday, and then the rest of the players Wednesday morning when they gather for the team meeting. Their first real practice will be Wednesday for the Ravens, so that would be when you'd have to do it. But he hasn't operated like that, otherwise. Now, look, the Cincinnati week where he kind of played coy for the first time,
Hmm.
we later found out Tyrod was hurt. So
Right.
we didn't
Right.
realize how hurt Tyrod was that week. And I think that's why he was playing coy with it. He didn't know if Tyrod would be able to play. And then he just kind of continued doing it because I think he was toying with the media a little bit. Um, on Friday, we spoke to him the day after the game, and he seemed a little more open to making a change than I've heard him at all. He didn't snap at anyone asking questions. He answered the questions. He said he's gonna look at everything and evaluate everything, but he acknowledged, the quarterback's part of that. And he was more critical of Fields, I thought, Friday than he has been. So I think there's a chance that they're going to go to Tyrod here. I think they have to. Um, I think he owes it to the rest of the team really to do this. So we'll see. Whether he tells us what's happening, I do not know. I do not know how to predict his behavior at this point.
Well, here's what I don't understand with this guy, right? He's 1-0, okay? Hasn't won a thing. He's 2-9 as far as a head, or 2-8, soon to be 2-9 as far as a head coach in the NFL. And he thinks he's Parcells. I mean, forget about the quarterback stuff. And look, I'm not the biggest fan of Rich Cimini, but what he pulled the other day with Rich Cimini, I mean,
Yeah,
Cimini was reporting. I mean,
and
and it
he
turned
was
out to
right.
be true. I mean, Wilson's on
Yeah,
IR. I mean,
yeah.
what was that all about, Brian?
Yeah, Joe, I look at it. Sometimes these guys are just under amazing stress, and you can see it in their face. And I think the short week, like I got a feeling he wasn't sleeping. He was,
Mm-hmm.
game planning. He was looking at the Patriots and going, "Holy crap, how are we going to beat the Patriots? Like, look at that,
Right,
they are
right.
rolling." And I think he was in a bad mood. And then someone dumped that, somebody from the PR department probably told him, hey, just so you know, Rich Samini reported Garrett's out 3 to 4 weeks. And he came in and he thought that was the way he was going to like stick it to everyone. And the weird thing is, Joe, is like, Rich and I are competitors. Like with the media, we're all
Mm-hmm.
competitors, as you know
Right,
from your
right,
years in the
right,
radio business. Sometimes the players and coaches see us as one team, which is tough.
right.
Like I've had to explain this to guys before. Like they we're going to punish the entire media. Years ago, Bart Scott launched a media boycott after one report. And I had to tell Bart, I'm like, Bart, you're not hurting him. You're hurting all of us, like, by doing this. So I think Glenn should know better. He's been around since 1994 at this point in the NFL. So, but yeah, that he didn't handle that great, But look, Joe, with the press conference stuff, he wins games. Nobody's going to care how he talks to the media. So he's just
No,
got to win games, and all this will go away. As long as he's losing, people are going to analyze everything about it, including how he deals with us. And he's had some, not so great moments this season with the media stuff, but he's a first time coach. That kind of struck me the other night watching that Jets Patriots game. Is like Vrabel just looks like, man, he looks confident.
mhm,
And like I
mhm.
get it, he's done this a long time at this point. I think he was in Tennessee 6 years, maybe.
Right, I think 6
So
years, yeah.
yeah, so he's done this a long, long time already. Like he's comfortable in it, and I think Glenn is still learning on the job. As long, he's long time assistant, long time player, but he has not been the head man before, so I think he's learning.
You think Wilson plays again this year or no?
I do. I don't see. I like unless they say like he can make it worse. But like a knee sprain is going to heal. Like, I don't see any reason why he wouldn't play this year. So I think I think after the 4 weeks we'll see if he can come back.
What about Brees? I mean, I'm glad they didn't trade Brees. To me, he's their best player. I mean, I'm sorry. You
Yeah.
can talk about Wilson all day. Their best offensive player is Brees Hall. I know he wasn't great against New England, but, they were keying on him to begin
Yeah,
with.
it's tough.
Do they pay
Yeah.
him? I mean, do you think they franchise him? How do you see that playing
Yeah.
out?
I wouldn't franchise him, Joe. I would go for the contract. Franchise is going to be
Right,
about 14 million, and that's
right.
you can't hide that money with it. Like you can't play games with the cap. Like if he's franchised, that's 14 million on the cap. They have a lot of cap space to play with, but I would try to sign him to a 3 year deal. Try to give him that 14 million up front. And because that's what they're going to want that because that's the franchise tag. But I would pay him like 12 million a year, something like that, a 3 year deal. That's really you can get out of it after 2 years. He's been that good this season. I've seen it, and I think you know the biggest like question to me is why the heck aren't they throwing him the ball more? Like
Yeah, I don't get that. Yes, 100%.
I've heard from people that Fields doesn't really like throwing to running backs. I've heard that from guys in Chicago that wasn't his strength. But man, like Brees touched the ball one time against Cleveland in the past, and he went 42 yards for a touchdown. And he's just such a weapon when they do it. You can see it. And like we're saying, like they're stacking the box to stop him running. So I think that's one way. Like throw screen passes, get him out, get him some swing passes. So yeah, I would pay him, Joe. I think he's done enough this year where he's earned that. And like I mentioned before, I think a big thing for the Jets is, you're going to draft a quarterback. You better have a good offense around him. and that's that's Brees, that's Garrett, that's the offensive line. Like they've got some pieces here. Don't let a piece walk away, and then now you have to draft a running back, right?
That's
Like
right.
you're gonna have to find a running back. And so I want if I have a rookie quarterback walking in here next year, I want a really solid team around him, and not like what we saw with Darnold and even Zach Wilson. Zach hasn't had success elsewhere yet, but like he walked in here and he had a terrible offense around him. I think you really need a good infrastructure around the kid that you draft.
And you could look this up, but I'm pretty sure that this is an accurate statistic. The Jets are 17-5 when Brees Hall scores a touchdown. Check that
Is
out.
that right? Yeah, that makes sense. And like,
Right?
yeah, I mean, you just see it, you know, when he touches the ball, like just what a difference maker. And here's the thing, Joe, he's not always going to rush for 130 yards like
Yeah.
against Cincinnati, but he is the only home run hitter on this team,
No
right?
question.
Garrett Wilson's not a home run hitter. Garrett Wilson's a nice player, but Garrett doesn't break long plays, right? Brees can break a long one in the run game and the passing game. Like he's it. So like I've used this kind of analogy before. Like don't take the bat out of his hands. Like let him hit, man, because you don't know. Like it can go. So he's a guy. He might only bat 250 or something, but he can go home run anytime. So that's the biggest thing with Brees to me.
No question about it. Love it. We're talking to the great Brian Costello of the New York Post. Brian, I want to just hold you on for a second because we got to do the sponsors here if you don't mind.
All right, pay the bills, Joe.
We got to do that. We're going to start with I'm going to tell you right now. Maybe Brian, you could use this too. Manscaped. I love it. The holidays are here. It means it's time to give the gift of smoothness. Whether you're shopping for your partner, your brother, yourself, whoever it is. Manscaped Performance Package 5.0 Ultra is the ultimate upgrade because nothing says happy holidays like a perfectly groomed package. And I'm telling you, Manscaped, Brian, does it both ends. You can,
All
you can
right.
do the top, you got the lawnmower for the bottom, you got the whole deal. I mean, it's unbelievable. Come on, the handyman for your face. You got the lawnmower 5.0 Ultra to take care of down below. And as I always say, it gives you the illusion of extra inches, and every guy wants that, even if it's just an illusion. So check out the Manscaped from trimming to freshening up. This is all one grooming kit, keeps you clean, confident, and ready for any festive occasion. So go ahead, unwrap confidence this season with Manscaped. Head over to manscaped.com, join over 13 million men worldwide, maybe even Brian Costello, who trust Manscaped. Use the code PAIN, that's PAIN, not JETS, PAIN, PAIN, for 15% off your entire order. Give the gift of smooth this holiday season. And remember this too, Manscaped not only do they have the handyman and the lawnmower, but they got underwear, tremendous. I mean, when I play golf, I use the Manscaped underwear. They got the shampoo and body wash. They got the whole package. You're covered from head to toe. Give the gift of smooth this holiday season with the Performance Package 5.0 Ultra. Get 15% off your entire order with code PAIN, P-A-I-N at Manscaped. That's 15% off with code PAIN at manscaped.com. Stay on top of your grooming game. Be ready for anything the season throws your way. Now, my good friends at the you need to go on a vacation next year. I got the perfect place for you, Brian. The Carolina Resort Vacation. Plan your next getaway at North Myrtle Beach. Beautiful. Go to great golf courses down there. I don't know if you play golf or not, but whatever. So I certainly do. Check it out. They got 5 spacious bedrooms, each with a private ensuite and a bathroom. How about that? Fully stocked kitchen, ready for family meals or group cooking nights. Arcade-style gaming table with 150-plus classic games. Smart TVs in every room. Entertainment for everybody. Steps from the beach, minutes from the Barefoot Landing, mini golf, Ripley's Aquarium, Myrtle Beach Boardwalk, all the great golf courses down there. It's freshly renovated, spotless, spacious, perfect for family trips, group getaways, relaxing retreat by the ocean. Check it out. Whether you're soaking up the sun, exploring local attractions, or just enjoying time together, OBLV Unit 2, Carolina Resort Vacation makes every trip unforgettable. Check it out, 843-249-6509, 843-249-6509, or visit CarolinaResortRealty.com to learn more and start planning your trip today. And don't forget, Anita Discount Tire in beautiful Rivervale, New Jersey, Westwood Avenue. See my son Johnny, see his boss Ari, the whole group over there. Ari just did me a big solid on my daughter's car, so check that out. Whatever your automotive needs are, tires, any kind of repair work, you need your car inspected and need a discount tire. Beautiful Rivervale, New Jersey, Westwood Avenue. All right. We're talking to the great Brian Costello, does a fantastic job for the New York Post covering the Jets. I want to talk about a couple positives, Brian. And to me, number one is the offensive line.
Yeah.
Right now, it looks like you really got something with these guys. I thought they played a solid game the other night against New England. The two tackles looked pretty good. Maybe it'd be better if Tippmann was at center. But I thought overall, it looks like they're really starting to come together on the offensive line. What's your thoughts about that?
Yeah, no, look at this for instance, like the game before they played the Browns played the Patriots before they played the Jets. They had 4 sacks in that game. Miles Garrett had 4 sacks.
Right.
Jets holding the 1 sack. Now they didn't throw a ton in that game, granted, but 1 sack. Then yesterday, Miles Garrett I think had 4 sacks against the
Yep.
Ravens. Right? Like,
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
so that shows you right there. Like, hey, their tackles did a great job in that game. I think Membu has been a stud as a rookie. He's been really really good, and he's faced some good pass rushers, starting with T.J. Watt week 1, and Garrett was obviously the best of the best. And I think Olu has gotten better as the season has gone on. He had some shaky moments early on, but he's better. I think Tippmann has really done well at guard. Is I think one of the most
Mhm.
like underappreciated things about the
Had a
season
bad
is the guy.
penalty in the Patriot game, but he's played
He
well.
did, he did, but Joe, I watched that penalty back, and I'm like, I don't know, like
Mhm.
these guys are playing football, and
Yeah,
like
no,
maybe
right.
he hit the guy a little late. I get it, but it wasn't like he chased. It wasn't egregious to me, but it was a bad penalty. But he's done well, and like he switched positions. AVT got hurt right before the season, so he had to switch positions,
Mhm.
and that's tough. So I think they've got building blocks there. Maybe I don't know if you bring AVT back for a year and a prove it deal. I don't know if you draft someone internally, but they have. I think they've got 3 solid pieces of the offensive line there to build around, and they're young guys, so that's a lot different than it's been for a while. I think, and they missed on some offensive linemen like Becton. Obviously, was a big miss here. So these two tackles look like they're going to be here for a while.
All right, the two receivers that they brought in the
Yeah.
trades, Mechie, who actually had a nice game, caught a touchdown, had another first down catch, and Mitchell, who obviously had a couple big drops, a real big drop on that throw down, probably the best throw Fields made the whole night. Hit him in
Yes.
the hands down the sideline, and he dropped it. Uh, I got to believe that they're going to try to, let's see what we got with these guys. What's your thoughts about those two guys?
Yeah, and that's part of why I think they need to make a quarterback change, Joe. I
Right,
think
right,
I think
right.
it's a huge priority this last 7 weeks is let's see what we've got in these guys. Do we have a guy who could be a number 2 receiver, or do we have to draft somebody? So like you need someone. Yes, Fields hit him in the hands, that one, but then there was the other one that was down near their end zone where Mitchell was wide open and Fields misses them. And
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I think you need a quarterback that's gonna get an offense going. I loved those getting those 2 guys in the trades. I thought that was a really positive by Muji. Is you're
yep,
not just getting draft picks, but you're getting a player, and they're players who were good draft picks, right? Like second round draft picks that like hey, they didn't work out where they were for whatever reason. But let's see if a change of scenery does it, and if it doesn't, no big deal. All right, like we
yeah,
we move on. So I thought that was smart, and you could see Mitchell was getting open, and he was getting open against Christian Gonzalez, who's a good cornerback. So I thought that there was a lot of promise there. And like you said, Mechie had a couple of big catches, including the touchdown. So worth it. I mean, look, this wide receiver room beyond Garrett had nothing this season coming into the year, and they're like we kept saying, are they going to add someone? What are they doing? Are they going to add anyone? So I think these are worthwhile. Just like lottery tickets. See if you got something that clicks here.
I got to give Muhi some credit here. I mean, I look at the first draft, and it's really not bad. I mean, Membos looks like you said, he looks like a real player. Taylor certainly, the tight end, looks like a real player. If you could get somebody to get him the ball more,
Yep.
even the guys in the secondary. I know Thomas didn't play. I guess.
Yeah.
Do you know if he's playing this week or not? Was he?
I don't know. He had a concussion, so you got to
Right,
see. He got to
right,
go through the protocol and see if he clears. Yeah, but yeah, no, I agree with you. And Malachi Moore's
right.
been fine at safety. Like it hasn't been like he's been all horrible out there. I think he needs to improve his tackling a little bit. Sometimes he just throws a shoulder into a guy instead of wrapping up. But over, like he's a fourth round pick. He's done well. So yeah, I agree with you. I think the early returns on this draft have been very good.
Why is it, and again, we're talking to Brian Costello, and I really appreciate the time, Brian. Why is it that this team cannot force turnovers? No,
It's
really. I mean, I've
incredible.
yelled about this for forever, Brian, but this year it's become an epidemic. I mean, they forced one turnover all year. They don't have an interception in 10 games. I mean, it's mind boggling.
It's mind boggling, Joe. It's amazing. I do not know why. I mean, some of interceptions are luck, right? A
Right,
tip
right.
ball, an overthrown pass, right? You see it every week in the NFL. Like watching the Eagles Lions last night early on, the Eagles get that tip ball and but the Jets are getting none of it, and so that's part of it. And then they've had a few opportunities where they didn't. They had another one, on Thursday night where they didn't get the ball.
Yep.
But it's unlike anything I've ever seen. And I was talking to a coach yesterday. Oh, they come in bunches. They come in bunches. Well, they ain't coming in bunches for the Jets. It's
No,
been incredible. And this team really needs it because the
no
offense
question
is
about it.
so poor. So, like,
Right,
can you give them the ball at the 20-yard line, the 30-yard line, where they can have a 4-play drive and score a touchdown instead of? I feel like every time the Jets score a touchdown, it's a 12-play drive. Like, and that
right,
is not
right.
sustainable. Can you score some points on defense? I mean, what a concept that would be.
Well,
So, yeah, I mean, it's incredible. And then, like, you look at Aaron Glenn, Joe, the head coach. He had like 40 interceptions as a
I
player.
know. No,
He
no,
was
he
a
was a
ball
tremendous
hawk.
player.
He was a
Yeah,
tremendous ball hawk. So
he was.
it's really I do not know like why they can't get it. And earlier in the season there were some fumbles that they didn't recover, but that hasn't even really been the case lately. So it's crazy. I've never seen anything like this. And there's been some bad years with turnovers with the Jets, as you know. Like
Terrible.
some of this, I remember there was a solid year where they had barely any interceptions. Bowles had a year barely intercept, but they had more than this. They would get 3 or 4 at least. This has been incredible.
Yeah. How about Quincy Williams? He after his brother gets traded, Glenn comes out, says he's not going to start now, and then he plays in that game against Cleveland. And he's all over the field, and even the other night, I mean, I thought he played a real well again the other night. He got that sack where he got
Yep.
Drake May, and then who was it? Stevens got a holding
Stevens.
penalty.
Yeah, Stevens got a penalty. Yep.
But
Yeah.
are they gonna pay him? He's a good player. He's real good.
I I don't think they're going to pay him, Joe, because they paid Sherwood. So I
He's
don't think
better
you
than
pay.
Sherwood. I mean,
He
am
is,
I
but
missing
they
something?
already but the money's spent on Sherwood. That's a lot of money to spend at linebacker. If you're going to pay two of them, uh, I'd be surprised. He's going to be 30 years old next year. That's a magic number. They drafted Mawagoa, in the fifth round, who's played a little bit this year.
Mhm.
Do they just roll the dice with him next year as a second linebacker? I don't. And also the benching thing, Joe. Like clearly they don't love him, right? Like
Right,
it made no sense to me. I thought he played well in Cincinnati the week before.
right,
They,
right.
they had rushing issues, so I'm going to guess that some of the rush. It's hard for me to know who's not in the right spot on the running game. So I'm guessing he took the blame for that, but I don't know. He played well against Cleveland. I think he's just too like he's a spark plug, Joe. Like when I watch the Jets, there's only a few players I see where like, man, that guy brings energy. Him, I think Brownlee, who now has become a penalty machine, but like when he
Right,
got
right.
here, he brought some energy too. Like they were just playing aggressively, hitting people, flying sideline to sideline. I like that in my defensive players, and I think Quincy is that guy. But it's clear somebody in the Jets, isn't very high on him.
All right. How about again? We're talking to Brian Costello. How about McDonald? How do I evaluate Will McDonald and Jermaine Johnson? I mean, McDonald has this monster game against Cleveland. Gets 4 sacks in that game against Cleveland. He was unbelievable. Uh, he didn't play well, obviously, against New England. They were keying on him too, double teaming him. Johnson
Yeah.
got the only sack. Um, what about where are you with these two guys?
Yeah, it's tough, Joe, because I think, I do think Will McDonald was banged up against New England too. He had a quad injury, and playing Thursday night's tough off of
Right.
a Sunday game. So if you're not hurt, but he's a very good pass rusher, but he's a liability in the run game. When you watch him against the run, he's not great. And like I don't know, I feel like both of them leave me wanting more, Joe, a lot. Like Jermaine has all this potential, but I haven't seen the production yet.
Right.
Now, trying to keep in mind, he's
Not at
coming
all.
off a major injury last year, right? So
Yep.
usually it
Yep.
takes about a half a season for these guys to really get back. So I'm curious to see, can Jermaine make a push here in these last 7 weeks and show you that he's all the way back. He'll tell you he's all the way back. He would have told you that in July. But usually the history with Achilles is it takes about a half a season after they come back. So can he make a push? I do think they need to add another pass rusher, Joe. I think if you had a third, you're in
Mhm.
good shape, and maybe someone who's a little more stout against the run than Will. I think that's been an issue for this team. Michael Clemens, Braden McGregor,
Oh,
those aren't the guys.
stop right there. How the hell is Michael Clemens still on this team? I mean, it's mind-boggling to me, Brian. It really is. How is that
Yeah,
possible?
he coaches like him. The last coaching staff liked him, and this coaching staff likes him. I'm with you. I don't really get it. I actually think he's better when they kick him inside. I think he's okay in sort
Mhm.
of that inside role. He had a batted pass the other night down by the goal line. He had some pressures, but yeah, I do not love him coming off the edge. And he's also a guy, Joe, where years ago, Mike Pettin, the old Jets defensive coordinator,
Yep.
told me
The
about. Remember
Rex.
Eric Smith, the safety, right?
Yeah. Of
Eric
course.
Smith was this great special teams player who they kind of sprinkled in at safety early on in his career, and then all of a sudden they had a year where he had to play every down. And Mike Patton said to me, he goes, "Eric Smith's the guy you love at 300 snaps. You don't love him at 1,000 snaps." So, and Michael Clemens is that guy to me, and he's had to play a lot more than he should have played with the injuries to Jermaine in the last couple of years. So I think Clemens is okay if he's got a role, but he can't be the guy.
You mentioned Eric Smith, and all I can think about is Victor Cruz running down the sideline. And
Yeah.
Kyle Wilson was the guy
Yep.
who initially missed him. And then at about the
Yeah.
50-yard line, Smith had a shot at him, and he missed him
Yes.
too. And, well, I mean, when I think of killer plays in the history of my franchise, man, that is top five without a doubt. It's
It's
up there.
really, I mean, they were winning that game,
Yeah.
and it's been downhill ever since. It feels
Right.
like, it really does. It really feels that was, I guess 2015 they had a good season and had a chance, but that 2011, man, that was a rough one.
Yeah, that was really, really rough, no doubt about it. All right, now I got to say this, and I know a lot of my Jet fans, want to lose every game. I want the number one pick. See, no, I want to win some games. Number one, I want to know if we got any kind of a head coach here. I mean, right now it doesn't look very good for Aaron Glenn as being that guy. So I got to see. I want to see some wins. I mean, I look at this team. We got what do we got? 7 games. 7 games left. Yeah, we played 10 games. 7 games
Yep.
left. I see 4 games that are winnable. Atlanta, Miami at home, Jacksonville. I know they killed the Chargers yesterday, but the Chargers, even with Harbaugh, they're a fraud team. I'm sorry. So you got Jacksonville on the road, and we got who's the other game?
New
The
Orleans.
Saints. Saints,
Yep.
right? So those are 4 games I could see them winning. I don't think they're going to win them all, but I
Yeah.
want to win some games. But I don't care where we finish in the draft. Does it really matter? I mean, Jackson Dart wasn't the first pick in the draft. What's your thoughts on that?
I'm with you. I think winning's important. I think he needs to establish his program and build confidence in that locker room of what they can do. I think with the draft picks, I agree with you. You can find the guys other than at number one for sure, and I also think we talked about all the draft picks they got in the trades, Joe. Right? Well, that's
Right,
part of it. Is like if
right.
you if let's say there is one guy that you love more than everybody else, you now have the ammo to move up and get him if you want to do that.
Mhm.
So it's not that it won't be that hard for them to do that. So I think winning is important, and like they're not going to win so many games here where they're drafting 15th
No,
or anything like that. It's gonna
no,
be in the
no.
top 10.
Right.
So I'm with you. I think they could probably win 3 more games, probably something like that, and finish 5-12. But I am not in the tanking crowd.
Yeah, no, definitely not in a tanking crowd. All right. I just want to understand. So we got two number ones this year, or in
Yes.
April's draft. two number ones, two number twos as well.
Yep, that's right. Yeah, I got Dallas as number 2 this year.
Two number ones, two number twos. Next year, we got three number ones and just one number two. Is that where it is?
Yes. Yep, that's where it is. Yep.
Okay, well, that's not too bad. We'll take. We'll
No,
certainly
I
take.
mean that's the beauty of the trades, Joe. Is it gives you flexibility to do whatever you want with quarterback,
Right,
right? If you want to, if you say, hey, Fernando Mendoza is the guy, there is no doubt
right,
in my mind he is the guy, and
right,
it looks like right now Tennessee's probably going to have the number 1 pick, right? I
right.
think that's what it looks like. They don't need a quarterback, right?
No,
The
no,
Giants are in the mix. They don't need
no,
a quarterback.
no.
So
The Saints
if
do.
one of
The
those
Saints need
the
one.
Saints need a
Two
quarterback,
teams,
I think
Brian. Saints, Raiders. I think the Raiders need a quarterback. I mean, Geno's at the end.
yeah,
He's almost shot now, Geno.
yes.
Right? I mean, so those are two teams right there, right?
Yeah, and the Browns, I mean, they took
All right,
the
right.
Browns just drafted 2 quarterbacks, but I still think they need one. So, but like let's like Tennessee is number 1, right? And you are worried about the Saints at number 3 or something. Hey, we'll trade you 2 draft picks, or whatever, 2 first round picks and a second round pick to move up to number 1. They can do that now, and
Yeah,
so that's kind of the beauty of those trades is it just gave you the flexibility to do whatever you need to do to get that quarterback.
yeah. Well, let's hope they get him. There's no question about that. One other thing too is the one another big positive. Your offensive line's been a positive, but the return game. I mean, how about this? I don't know how you say
Yeah,
his name. How do you say his name again? 34.
Kane Wanu. Yeah, the N is
Awanu.
silent. Yep.
Tremendous. And even Williams. And I'll tell you one thing about Williams. I know he got cut. Since he came back to the team, he's been good. He had a big game in the
Yeah.
Cincinnati game. He had the kick return against Cleveland. They should use him more in the offense, Brian.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll tell you, Isaiah Williams' story, Joe, that impressed me was, he had that bad night in Miami, right? Where
Right, right.
he had the fumble and then he
Yep,
caught the fair caught it at the 2-yard line.
right.
And he's a young player, right? He hasn't played a whole lot in the NFL. He stood at his locker that night in Miami and answered all the questions. And like people laugh at some of the media stuff, but like to me, that's like you're accountable. Like that shows me something
Yep.
about your
That's a
character.
big
He
deal.
stood there. I actually circled back to him the Friday after that game and went over and talked to him for a while. And he was just so impressive. Like he was telling me, he told me the fair catch. He's like, I just wanted to make a play because I had fumbled. He's like, so I was just dying. He goes, my head is like, I gotta return this. I gotta return this for a touchdown. He's like, and I caught it. He goes, and I heard the crowd cheer. And he goes, I realized I was on the 2-yard line. But like, he didn't pout about it. And so it's been nice to see him have success, come back and do that. A guy like that, and yeah, they give Chris Banjo's a guy, Joe, special teams coordinator. This guy was playing in 2022, so that's pretty crazy to be a coordinator in
Yeah.
2025. 3 years after you're a player, but he's done a fantastic job with the returners. Obviously, Nick Folk hasn't missed a
Oh,
kick.
the punter,
Austin
too.
McNamara has been really good punting. So it's been pretty amazing.
Yeah, and they should have never got rid of Fudd. I mean, to me, he's the best kicker this team's ever had. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, nobody made more big kicks than Nick Folk when he was here. They should have never let him go. But, it is what it is. I'm glad he's back, even though the team stinks. One more thing before I let you go. What do you think the chances are that, we're all in Canton again next year to see Nick Mangold get inducted? You think that's possible or not?
Uh, I have my doubts, Joe. I think it's going to be tough for Nick. Obviously, horrible, horrible tragedy
Yeah.
and such a great guy. Uh, Marquise Pouncey is also, he's one of them. I think he's probably ahead of Nick in line at center.
Really?
But I know, I think the cut down is coming soon from think they go to 15 next, maybe. I can't remember. But we'll see if he gets cut down. But I think it's going to be tough right now for Nick. Maybe some years on the ballot, and they examine it. Obviously, Nick was a fantastic player and a great, great Jet. So I hope we're in Canton at some point to see that. But I don't think probably this year, Joe.
And what about the chances? And I've been a big proponent of this
I
for a
know
long
where you're
time.
going with this.
Yes,
99.
no. Well, I mean, come on. I mean, let's be honest about this, okay? And I love Joe Klecko. I mean, he finally got in. I love him. I was great to be there a couple years ago when he got in. Revis got in too. That was a great day for Jet fans. But let's be real about this. As great as Joe Klecko was, I mean, without Mark Gastineau, he's not as great as he was. and I say this all the time. I would say from 1981 to 85, 86, the two premier pass rushers in the NFL were Lawrence Taylor, and I'm not saying that Mark is Taylor, but were Lawrence
Mhm.
Taylor and Mark Gastineau. I mean, come on. I mean, you just saw McDonald get 4 sacks. Gastineau did it twice in a game.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they don't like him. I know Marty Lyons doesn't like him, and that's a big deal. I thought it was when they did that 30 for 30 on the Jets on a sack exchange. I thought it was a big hit job on Gastineau. I really did.
Yeah.
Is
It
there
was
any
tough.
shot this guy gets in?
I think it's going to be tough, Joe. I think now I do not vote for the Football Hall of Fame.
Right.
It's a
You
very
should.
small group of people.
You still
It's
got
a
a
very small
baseball
group.
bat. Don't you still have a
I
baseball?
gave up a baseball ballot, Joe. I gave that up a couple years ago because
Okay.
it's been long enough. I was away from baseball, but yeah, I don't vote for football. So Samini just got a vote. Actually, he just got added.
Okay.
So that tells you how hard it is. Rich has been covering the team since
Yeah,
1989,
forever.
so
Right.
he just got it. So you know, I do know Rich and Gastineau are close, so that could help him. That he's got a voice in the room.
Mhm.
But I think now Gastineau would have to be nominated by the committee for older players. Well, obviously, he's not a contemporary player
Right.
anymore on the
Right.
ballot. It has to be nominated that way. Uh, they added players, Joe, at some point to the Hall of Fame, and I've heard from people in the room, some former players, that they are the guys who are tougher on things like Gastineau quit on the team, right? At the end,
Yeah.
like
No,
he
I
walked
know.
through
I
this.
know.
They are the players, not the media members, but the players are very tough. Like the Terrell Owens stuff a few years ago, I heard from guys in the room. It was the former players who were saying Terrell Owens is not a Hall of Famer because of the way he was as a teammate, right? And it sort of makes sense when you think about it.
Mhm.
Guys who played their whole life, football, they have that mentality. So I think that hurts Gastineau. Is just kind of the end of his career. I think some people argue he's one dimensional, but man, that dimension was something, right?
Yeah.
Like that. I feel like that's like he was incredible, and I'm with you in terms of just watching the team in the '80s. As a kid, Gastineau was it. He was the guy. I realize now, looking back, how good Joe Klecko was, but when I was
Mhm.
just watching football,
Right. Right.
people had '99 jerseys everywhere. Like
Yeah.
he was the guy for the Jets,
Yeah,
and
I got
so
mine. Don't worry, I got my '99 jersey as well. I got a
yeah.
bunch of
So
jerseys.
it's an interesting debate. He's kind of a controversial figure in terms of the way he's done things off the field and stuff. So I'd like to see you know should the Jets retire his jersey, Joe? That's another one I was talking about, which is
Well, I was
we were talking
happy
about.
McDonald gave up 99. I don't know if he did that because of Gastineau, but I was happy he did
No,
that.
I think he wanted number 9, and Greg Zerline had it, and so finally Greg Zerline left. So he grabbed. I think that he was 9. He was number 9 in college. So yeah, yeah, no, but like, look, they give these numbers out. They give 99 out. Brian Thomas wore it, remember, for a long time,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
McDonald, yeah. So like, I don't know. That could be something the Jets could honor him with. That I think would probably be nice because
yeah,
I don't know when I see 99, I think of Mark Gastineau.
yeah. No, it's not. Well, I mean, maybe it's Aaron Judge 99 now or Wayne Gretzky, but
Wayne
yeah,
Gretzky, yeah.
yeah. But when you think football, as far as football, to me, he's 99. There's no doubt about it. And the other thing too is because I've talked to Mark, I have a little bit of a relationship with him as well. He's not right, Brian. He's
I
not
know.
right, and I want to see this guy get in the Hall of Fame while he could still see it while he's still on the earth.
Yeah. Yep. No, I hear you, Joe.
Yeah, no, I love Gastineau. I got to tell you, and it was unfortunate I had to get rid of my Source Gardner jerseys, but I did. You know what I mean? You're always good with that too. Like you can always win. Name it. Well, the ones I have, you can
Namath.
always.
You just
Well,
just I just tell people just get a Namath jersey. Don't do not it's that Sauce felt safe too when he signed the
I
contract, and
know.
then yeah, I know, and then gone. Yeah.
No, there's a lot of guys though. Name it: Curtis Martin, Gastineau, Klecko, Al Toon, Wesley Walker.
Yeah.
Krebet, Revis. I mean, there's guys that you can get those jerseys and you can wear them forever.
Yes. Yeah. Just not the current players.
No. Well, I do have Brees Hall, so I hope I can keep that one. And Wilson. I
Okay.
do have Wilson as well. So let's hope that works out going forward. Brian, it's great having you. You do a great job. I read the column all the time. Uh, don't always 100% agree with you. I'll say that, as you
That's
know.
okay.
But it's great having you on. I really appreciate you taking the time this morning, and hopefully we'll know maybe before Saturday or Sunday morning who our quarterback is next week.
Let's hope.
You think it's going to be Taylor, though, right? Your gut?
I do. I think they're going to go to Taylor. Yeah.
Okay, great. Brian, God bless. Take care, man. Talk to you soon.
All right, Joe. Thanks for
Be
having
good.
me.
Yep, Brian Costello, of course, the great beat writer for the Jets of the New York Post. Take care, bro.